have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity.
We know the air is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat. As if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy.
Silence! The great and powerful Oz knows why you have come.
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
You have meddled with the primal forces of nature.
Don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts.
It's time to buckle up for making sense of the madness.
And who loves you? And who do you love?
Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here, and the question is, has Donnie T come down with some sense of humility in regards to Operation Warp Speed? Now, we are going to have to be extremely careful on this broadcast. Unfortunately, despite the fact that other people, not only in the alternative media arena, but really all arenas, are allowed to now talk about the big V, I am generally not. And I'm going to kind of demonstrate that because I have two videos that we're going to show you that I think are actually dangerous to show you on this channel, and yet there are no warnings or, subtext, and I'm just wondering how long it's going to take, depending on how long this video goes, before there is a warning, bare minimum, on this video, and we're hoping that we're not going to get taken down. Now, I want to start by saying that I'm not going to be giving any medical advice whatsoever. I am going to try to read things verbatim and let people speak for themselves. But if there is one thing that I think has been an overall mega net positive in this Trump administration, it is Bobby Kennedy Jr. A lot of people have taken hot steaming dumps on some of the things he's said and done. Now, that's in the mainstream, that's on the left. But even in the circles that I run and that go beyond left and right, they don't feel that he has done enough. I tend to watch what he's doing and the narrative shifting, and overall, I am extremely pleased. And I don't know if that means that we're going to get any type of criminal retribution, but I certainly hope that this man can continue his job as HHS secretary and continue to disrupt this leviathan of inexcusable and in many ways unaccountable biomedical bureaucracy. And in many ways, it is the antithesis of that techno-fascism that I talk about. And the COVID 1984 nightmare really established that as a global biomedical techno-fascism. But I've said too much. And what we're going to do in this is we're going to read Trump's post about Operation Warp Speed. Then we're just going to quickly break down Operation Warp Speed and its roots, centralized really in our Defense Department and DARPA in particular, with the Adept and Protect program via their partnership with Moderna. Now, we're going to hit all those cylinders, okay? And out of those 2 videos, we're also going to show you Bernie Sanders. Now, hey, you want to trust Bernie? I'm going to let you trust Bernie. We're going to play Bernie unabated, okay? And he has this 8-minute video on YouTube and apparently has coupled this with an op-ed in the New York Times calling for RFK Jr. to step down. Talking about RFK Jr. being extremely dangerous. But I'm going to let him say that in his own words. And you are going to get to decide whether or not you trust Bernie Sanders. Because like it or not, and now this is like almost a decade old. Here we are in 2025. He absolutely won the Democratic primary over Hillary Clinton. So was way more popular than Hillary Clinton. You know, the establishment likes some Clinton, okay? And Bernie had at least corralled some kind of a base. I don't know if that base is still there today. He was just here in Davenport, Iowa, I think, last Friday. So he, you got to remember, 100 senators, you don't know most of them. Forget about, the number of people within Congress. You know a handful of figures in these arenas, and Bernie is one of them that has that national notoriety. So we're going to play that. We're going to talk about that and so much more. What I need from you guys, thumbs this up, subscribe, share, ring the bell if you haven't already. If you are new to the channel, because somehow, some way, despite the fact that we are still fully demonetized, we are actually growing. So ring the bell, check out all the documentary films down below, and please consider supporting the broadcast. I can't say it enough these days, and I hate having to do it, but there are no paychecks. Without you guys, I cannot continue to do this. $5, $10, $15, it means the world to me. I do want to thank the good people over at Marigold for becoming a monthly supporter via the Buy Me a Coffee. We're going to get to them in a moment, but River City's Reader is the independent media outlet here in the Quad Cities, does some really great national stories, and that is by my friend Todd McGreevy, who's been on the broadcast quite a few times. But his main business, because, independent media is tough, is he buys and sells businesses. So if you happen to be in that arena right now, if you're trying to sell a business or buy a business, if you want another eye on things, marigoldresources.com, go check them out. I can absolutely vouch for them. And remember, maybe another reason for you to donate, I'm going to be going to D.C. I'm going to be actually hosting Thursday the 11th with family members Mike Campbell, Bob McIlvain. They're in the Dylan Avery picture, The Unspeakable. We got Eric Lawyer and, of course, Luke Radowski that day as well. Remember, we're going to have Ron Johnson, Kurt Weldon, Dennis Kucinich, John Kiriakou, Clayton Morris. Turning the Tide, 9:10 to 9:12. I hope you can make it. If you can't, hey, please consider supporting again via either that Buy Me a Coffee or the links down below. Let's get into it. Let's just read the whole thing. And by the way, if you want to let me know what you think, and a lot of people already have, I'll read my quote right here. So I am sure there will be a wide spectrum of thoughts surrounding this statement, but I want to hear from you guys, okay? Is this genuine concern from Trump? Is this some humility from Trump? Is this limited hangout? Is this all part of the plan? It's part of the plan, Jason. Or is this a slick, false vindication process? Something else? Let me know in the comments below. So let's read it. This is Donnie T. It is very important that the drug companies justify the success of their various COVID drugs. Many people think they are a miracle that saved millions of lives. Others disagree. With the CDC being ripped apart over this question, I want the answer, and I want it now. Now in caps. I have been shown information from Pfizer and others that is extraordinary, but they never seem to show those results to the public. Why not? They go off to the next hunt and let everyone rip themselves apart, including Bobby Kennedy Jr. and the CDC, trying to figure out the success or failure of the drug company's COVID work. They show me great numbers and results, but they don't seem to be showing them to many others. I want them to show them now to CDC and the public and clear up this mess. One way or the other. I hope Operation Warp Speed was as brilliant as many say it was. If not, we all want to know about it and why. Thank you for your attention to this very important matter, President Donnie T. Okay? So, I'm going to bring this up first, and then we're going to go down the line. All right? Number one, there was this story out there. And again, this we're going to play it. I don't necessarily agree or disagree with anything said. You got that, YouTube? It's on your platform. Literally on the YouTube platform. John Rich told Donald Trump why he was being booed at rallies. So let's go over to this right now. Okay? Let's pop this on. See what the story is. And I actually had John Rich on my broadcast with Simone Gold. Really enjoyed that conversation.
President Trump is not president at this time, and he's talking to the senators and talking about really important stuff, and I'm just minding my own business going, I don't know how I got in this room. It's about an hour into dinner. I hadn't said a word, just been listening. Trump gets through eating, and you've seen him do this move right here. Yeah. Can I ask you a question, John Rich? He never calls me John. John Rich? I look at him, I go, yes, sir. Why are people booing me at my rallies when I bring up the vaccine? Okay, I'm going to tell you the answer, and you're not going to like it. He goes, okay, what's the answer? We, the American people, do not trust the people that you were forced to trust at the time when this was happening. I said, Mr. President, we consider them to be a bunch of murderous, depopulationist psychopaths. And then Lindsey Graham, who's sitting across, busting with it, swishing his Chardonnay around, and said, Mr. President, if you listen to conspiracy theorists like John Rich, the Democrats are going to take credit for what you did, and they're going to beat you in the next election with it. And I looked at him and I said, do not interrupt me when I'm speaking. Do you understand me?
You what?
And he looked at me and he goes, well, I didn't mean to disrespect you. I go, yeah, but you did.
Oh.
So,
Right now you look like Wyatt Earp. And it's very intimidating.
Trump is right here. You're Lindsey Graham, okay? I go, I'm holding him.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You're Lindsey Graham.
I look back up at the president. I look at him one more time. I go, now let me finish what I was saying.
Oh, man.
And then I finished it. Trump ended that by saying, so I guess no more vaccine talk. I said, I think that's a good idea.
Okay? So that occurred. He's talked about that all the way back, I think, in April, right? That's been in the arena for a while now. I got to point this out before we get into really the genesis of Warp Speed, and if you want a real investigation, Trump, where you should go, okay? Pfizer, all right, and BioNTech's Comirnaty just got FDA approval for adults 65 and older and individuals age 5 through 64 at increased risk for severe you-know-whatski, okay? I'm only pointing that out because I want everything on the table. I'm not trying to act like a cheerleader for HHS or RFK Jr., despite the fact I do think that they are doing the right thing. So BARDA, which is the medical DARPA, okay? See that? That's the Biological Advanced Research and Development Authority. Okay, it doesn't have agency at the end like DARPA. But that is the medical DARPA. They're supposedly, because of HHS, winding down their mRNA you-know-whatskis. Pointing that out. But we have to remember that all this was DARPA from the very beginning in 2013, starting with this $25 million grant to partner with Moderna that, remember, had no products whatsoever. None. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay, my oh my. What a wonderful day for them when their drug just went bazinga, huh? Huh? And I just got to read it. It's 24.6 million, okay, for 5 years, but it ended up being a lot more. We're going to show you the strategic mRNA collaboration. This grant is a part of a DARPA program called Adapt and Protect, the autonomous diagnostics to enable prevention and therapeutics, prophylactic options to environmental and contagious threats. The goal is to develop platform technologies that can be deployed safely and rapidly to provide the U.S. population with near immediate protection against emerging infectious disease and engineered biological weapons, even in cases when the pathogen or infectious agent is unknown. DARPA. Okay? Now, if you search DARPA, by the way, take a look, and we're going to go to nextgov.com for the prevention platform. But, I mean, right now, U.S. Department of Defense is investigating Moderna. Oh, really? Oh, let's take a look at that. Oh, let's take a look at that right there, huh? Oh, look at that. You know? Huh. For allegedly failing to disclose federal support. What do you know about that? Yeah, no kidding. Well, it's all driven by that biomedical techno-fascism when you get into the Defense Department, okay? So NextGov does a great job of laying it down just in short order, you know, DARPA in this. And here's the deal. The Defense Department doesn't have to tell you the truth. And then when you look at the strategic collaborators that come in, AstraZeneca, they're part of it. Merck, they're part of it. Vertex, there's BARDA, there's DARPA, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Karolinska Institute, and the Institute Pasteur, all there. I want to remind people that the Muskernuts teamed up with CureVac to make the printers that printed the shots. Okay? Here it teams up with CureVac, Tesla, the car company. And by the way, you know, you want to talk about quote-unquote pump and dumps. There was a time they were on a gravy train with biscuit wheels making that cheddar. And then in short order, big flop because of the quote-unquote efficacy. How about that? It showed a disappointing efficacy. How about that? Didn't stop Musk from having his net worth balloon up $175 billion. And by the way, I just had to throw this in there. This one's brand new. I laugh. Yeah, we're going to get tunnels. The guy's a defense contractor, okay? And I do want to also remind people that people like Daszak, Fauci, etc., they've testified. They've lied. You know, nothing in what Trump said we're going to get a criminal investigation. But I digress. Now we're going to go to Burn Dog. Bernie B. I should say Bernie S. I just want funny names for everybody. But Bernie over here, I might just let him play the whole 7 minutes plus, and I'm going to let you decide because I want to point this out right now. Let's go over to it. Okay. Oh, sorry, wrong one. There's nothing underneath here. Okay? There's nothing. Now, I don't know if there's a warning under my video yet or not. There's nothing underneath here. So I'm going to ask you whether or not you trust Bernie Sanders in general and what he's saying about medicine, what he's saying about global organizations, what he's saying about what is safe and effective. Okay? So if you agree with Bernie, hey, I hear you. Bernie, here he is.
Thanks very much for joining me. Dangerously, President Trump and Health and Human Services Secretary Robert Kennedy are wreaking havoc on our already broken and dysfunctional healthcare system. I love the slogan. It's a great slogan. Make America healthy again. Fantastic. Unfortunately, the Trump administration is doing just the opposite. You don't make America healthy by throwing 15 million people off the health care they have, which is what Trump's big, beautiful bill does. You don't make America healthy by, as a result of these Medicaid cuts, shutting down or creating a decline in services for hundreds of nursing homes, community health centers, and hospitals throughout the country. But it gets even worse than that. Secretary Kennedy has just fired the head of the CDC, Dr. Susan Monterez, who has been on the job for just a few weeks. Her crime? Well, she refused to be a rubber stamp for Kennedy's anti-vaccine conspiracy theories. That is her crime. That's why she was fired. In other words, she believes what virtually the entire medical and scientific community believe, and that is that vaccines are an enormously important public health tool which protect the health and welfare of our children and all Americans. It is a bit absurd to have to say this in the year 2025, but let me say it. Vaccines are safe and effective. Let me say it again. Vaccines are safe and effective. That, of course, is not just my view. Far more importantly, it is the overwhelming consensus of the medical and scientific communities. The American Academy of Pediatrics, the largest professional association of pediatricians in our country, representing over 67,000 doctors who treat our kids every day. They called immunizations, quote, one of the greatest public health achievements, preventing tens of thousands of deaths and millions of cases of disease, end quote. That's the pediatricians. The American Medical Association, the largest professional association of physicians and medical students in our country, representing over 270,000 doctors, along with 79 leading medical societies, recently said that vaccines for flu, RSV, and COVID-19 are, quote, the best tools to protect the public against these illnesses and their potentially serious complications, end quote. The World Health Organization, an agency comprised of some of the most prominent medical experts around the globe, representing 194 countries, found that over the past 50 years, vaccines have saved 154 million lives and reduced the infant mortality rate by 40%. Unfortunately, Mr. Kennedy, the head of U.S. government public health agencies, doesn't agree with the leading doctors and scientists in our country and around the world. He believes that, quote, autism does come from vaccines, end quote, despite more than a dozen rigorous scientific studies involving hundreds of thousands of children that have found no, quote, no causal association, end quote, to link vaccines to autism. He has called the COVID-19 vaccine, quote, the deadliest vaccines ever made, end quote, despite findings from the WHO that these vaccines saved 20 million lives throughout the world during the pandemic. He has claimed that the polio vaccines killed more people than polio ever did, despite the fact that the scientific community has found that the polio vaccine have saved 1.5 million lives and prevented over 20 million people from becoming paralyzed since 1988. He has absurdly claimed that, quote, there is no vaccine that is safe and effective, end quote. That is the head of the Health and Human Services Agency. So, what does this mean for the health of the American people? Short term, it will mean, unless we change this situation, that for millions of Americans, it will be harder to get life-saving vaccines. Already, the Trump administration has effectively taken away COVID vaccines from healthy adults and kids unless they fight their way through our broken healthcare system. It will also mean higher out-of-pocket costs if people are able to get the vaccine at all. And the long-term implications are even more dangerous. As the former chairman of the Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, I will never forget holding a hearing 2 years ago with the major government officials responsible for protecting us from a new pandemic, including the head of the CDC. Without exception, every one of these agency heads said that while they could not predict the exact date, there will be a future pandemic, and we must be much better prepared for it than we are today. Unfortunately, despite that reality, Secretary Kennedy's actions are making a dangerous situation even worse by defunding the research that could help us prepare for the next pandemic. In August, he canceled nearly $500 million in research for the kinds of vaccines that helped us stop the COVID pandemic. Secretary Kennedy is endangering the health of the American people, now and into the future. Secretary Kennedy must resign. In his place, President Trump must listen to our doctors and scientists and nominate a Secretary of Health and Human Services and a CDC director who will protect the health and well-being of the American people, not implement dangerous conspiracy theories. Thanks very much.
So there he is. Bernie. Talked a lot about conspiracy theories. Talked about RFK Jr. having to go. What do you think? Do you trust Bernie Sanders? Do you trust the global institutions and the consensus that they bring? Do you think it was wrong of RFK Jr. to fire this latest person? Or are you in agreement with that? I'm not saying anything, but I'm wondering whether or not I'm going to get a little dick-a-dick-a-do under the video because, hey, I already run a channel that can't be monetized because I'm dangerous, because I talk about this is a controversial issue and I'm harmful to your view. You don't think so? I'm harmful to you. Watch. We'll go back here. We'll go to the old dashboard. Let's go to the dashboard. And there's the earn button. Hit earn. Harmful content. I focus on controversial issues and I'm harmful to viewers. Maybe if I said things that Bernie Sanders said, then I wouldn't be harmful? Am I not allowed to disagree with Bernie Sanders? I guess I don't know. I guess we just will never know. Folks, we are going to wrap this one up. I got to say it again. I need your support. I need your support now more than ever. I want to thank everybody out there that has been supporting me. I also want you to share the videos, obviously. I want you to check out the documentary films. Like I said, that 9/11 anniversary is coming up. Loose Change Final Cut and Fabled Enemies are great tools if people are interested in the coming week and a half to check that out prior to the anniversary. Please give them those films. If you do like what I do, we've also got the PayPal down below. I want to thank all the big donors out there that have utilized that as well. Without you, I would not be able to do this. One more time, buying and selling a business, marigoldresources.com, marigoldresources.com, marigoldresources.com. You see the phone number right up there as well, and you can give them an email. Great people. Give Todd and Chris a call. I do want to say it one more time. I'm going down to DC. Another reason I could use your support. Hey, again, they're paying for my hotel and my gas. I'd love to get a steak on you. Thank you very much. That's fine if it's a burger. Like I'm going to make my way through it. But just so awesome. I'm actually going to be a part of this in person and not just virtually. I want to thank everybody at that event for having me MC, and I'm really looking forward to it. And like I said, I hope we do get enough momentum into the 25th anniversary. 24th is this coming week and a half. But on the 25th anniversary, so maybe, just maybe, we can get more of the truth out there. And just maybe, get some kind of accountability. Because that accountability isn't Democrat, it isn't Republican, it's not right or left. It's always going to be about right and wrong. I absolutely love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you all on